Hi guys. To celebrate the release of our first Spotty Kites song for 2020, I've decided to get some of the kids who sang on the song into the kitchen to cook with me. Now the song is called Say Hello, so I figure let's do a breakfast for some members of their family. Now they're going to be here in the morning, so I think I'd better get a few things organised. In fact, I'm going to give you a recipe for my beautiful baked beans. Let's get started. I'm going to use a heavy pot that I can transfer to the oven later. Heat the pan up, then add a splash of olive oil. Cut up one red onion and add that to the pan, stirring until the onions have started to soften. Dice 4 cloves of garlic and add them to the onions. Add in 2 tablespoons of tomato paste and 1 tablespoon of Dijon mustard, and cook them off for a minute or two. Now we can add our beans. I'm using 3 different types of beans for this recipe: red beans, white beans and black beans. Make sure you rinse them well, then add them to the mixture. Tip in 2 tins of crushed tomatoes. Now comes the baking part. I like to make sure this mixture is quite wet, so add a bit of veggie stock. You can adjust the seasoning at the end. Before we put it in the oven, I'm going to add some salt, a splash of Tabasco and Worcestershire sauce, some red wine vinegar and a couple of tablespoons of white sugar. Add a few sprigs of thyme. No need to pick off the herbs, just throw them in. You can remove the stalks later. Our final ingredient is green olives. The olives are a little bit of a departure from a normal baked beans, but it'll all make sense when you see what I'm using it for in the morning. I'm using olives that have been marinated with chilies for a bit of a kick. Put a lid on the pot and bake it in the oven for half an hour. Well, that's all done. So once it's cooled down enough, you can store that in the fridge, ready for tomorrow morning. I think we're good. Good night. So it's very early in the morning and the kids are about to arrive. So what I've done is I've just heated up the baked beans and I've taken off the liquid and strained it off, added some vodka and a few other beautiful things. That's for the adults for later. So let's find these children. Here we have our 2 willing cooks for the day. So would you introduce yourself?
My name is Lauren.
And how old are you?
10.
And you are?
I'm Costa.
And how old are you?
12.
And you both sang on the song that we're launching today, Say Hello. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Do you remember the lines you had?
No. No.
It was pretty hard. It was, hello! So where did you 2 meet?
We met at the Queensland Show Choir.
Wow, that sounds exciting. And have you performed together as well outside of there?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have.
What did you do?
We did a duet called Anything You Can Do, I Can Do Better.
Anything you can do, I can do better. And who was better? Of course. So this morning we've got some of your family members coming for breakfast and you're going to cook for them. Now, what do you think we should cook them for breakfast?
Toast.
Toast? Oh, and what about you? What do you think we should do?
Cereal.
Cereal? Isn't there anything more exciting than toast or cereal?
Fruit salad.
Fruit salad.
Pancakes.
Well, you're all completely wrong. We're not doing any of that.
Oh.
What would you say if I told you today for breakfast we are going to make pizza?
What? What?
Yeah,
Breakfast?
breakfast pizza. Is that a good idea?
No.
We're also going to do corn and herb muffins. I know everyone's going to love them.
Oh,
Cool.
those look good.
Brilliant. Let's start. So first of all, we need 300 grams of self-raising flour in the bowl. Off you go, Lol. Now, Costa, can you put in 75 grams, this is a cheddar, and 75 grams of Parmesan cheese? You can use your fingers. You wash your hands?
Yes.
Okay, good. You use your fingers. Yep, 75. Brilliant. Now, you have made a really big mess here, but luckily today you're going to learn two things. First of all, you're going to learn how to cook, and the second thing is you're going to learn how to clean up the mess you made. Does that sound good? Right, next thing, you can pour all of that corn in there.
Is this measured?
That's measured, yes.
Okay.
And Lol, we can chuck that in, plus 2 spoonfuls of salt.
Is it just me or is that thick salt?
This is flake salt. It's really yummy. Great, okay. Okay, next we need to get all the wet ingredients organised. So Lol, can you get 200 grams of that buttermilk? I think it's about a cup. Pour it in there. Do you know what buttermilk is?
No?
It's not milk with butter in it. It's more like milk with acid in it, like a lemon or something. 200 grams, nearly there.
Acid?
Yeah, lemon's very acidy. Okay, throw that in there. Now, Costa, can you have about half of this can? I need 200 grams of cream corn. Half of that can in there. Brilliant, give me that. Wonderful. Now, we need... Oh, we'll just put the spoon there.
Okay.
Butter in there. 60 grams of melted butter. Tip it all in. That's right. And then can you each crack an egg in there? You got a cracking eggs?
Yep.
No shell. Well done. Costa, let's see how good you are. Do you? Oh, so I have to wash up another bowl. Good.
Sorry.
Sorry, you have to wash up another bowl.
What?
What's going on? Whack it harder, harder, whack it, whack it. There we go. Throw it in. And I'll get you a whisk. Whisk it up. Just to combine it all. Break the eggs up. I reckon that'll do. Okay, let's get them both together.
Okay. I can hear it.
The last thing we need to do before we put them in the oven is get a little pinch of Parmesan cheese, sprinkle on the top. Off you go.
Okay.
So to go with our breakfast pizzas, instead of bacon, which we normally have, we're going to have prosciutto, but we're going to bake it in the oven so it's really, really crispy. All we really need to do is cut it in half this way and cut it in half this way, and then we'll bake it in the oven. You reckon you can do that? So these are only going to take about 7 minutes in the oven, so we're going to put these aside and start on our pizzas. Okay, so we're making our little individual pizzas for everyone today. So what we're going to do, instead of doing one big one, we're going to cut 4 small ones out of each pizza. So lean down on that and cut out a little pizza base. Okay guys, to make these breakfast pizzas, we're going to use some baked beans that I made last night and put a little bit on top of each one, almost like a tomato sauce. I'll show you how to do one and then you can do the rest. Good job with the cheese. Now these are ready to go in a really, really hot oven for about 10 minutes. So we're going to put them aside and now we're going to have to crack all of those eggs. Right, now because we've got to do 8 eggs for lunch today, I want to put them all in bowls so that we can get them all nice and ready to go. Have you ever learned how to crack an egg on the table? I'll show you. Watch very carefully. You just tap it on the table like this. Cut!
Rolling.
Right, because we've got to cook 8 eggs, I want to get them all in the bowls ready to cook later. So what you have to do is very gently tap it on the table and then pour it into the bowl. Perfect. Do you want to have a go? Tap it gently on the table. Go. Yeah, that's not right. Okay, why don't I do the eggs? Wait, is that the doorbell? Our guests have arrived. I think it's time to say hello.
Hello. When you're feeling all alone and going somewhere new, you don't have a single friend and don't know what to do. Your new friend is somewhere near you, simply have to find. Look to the left, look to the right, and also look behind. Say hello. Hello. Say hello. Hello. Shake the hand of someone new and say hello. Hello. Say good day. Good day. That's the way. Good day. You'll be friends before you know it. Say good day. Good day. Say hello. Say hello. Hello. And you'll have a brand new friend before you know. Hello. Simply say hello. Every day. Hello. Say good day. That's the way. Say hello. Hello.
Buongiorno. Bula.
Here's the thing you need to know, your new friend is the same. They are feeling timid too, cause they don't know your name. Time to tell your friend your name and find out their name too. Talk to your friends, the celebrity friends, and they can talk to you. Say hello.
Hello.
Say hello.
Hello.
Shake the hand of someone new and say hello.
Guten Tag.
Say good day.
One more little surprise for the adults here, none for kids. I've made you Bloody Mary shots with the juice from the baked beans. I know it sounds weird, but it's delicious. Here's to Spotty Kites. Cheers!
Every day. Say good day. That's the way. Say hello. Say hello.
Well, that's breakfast done. Thank you all for coming to our first Spotty Kite breakfast. There's only one more thing to do. Cleaning up.
Say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Shake the hands of all your friends and say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Say so long.
I think it might just be easier to sell the house.